Howdy, folks. I'm HornetDRIVER, and you're listening to the very first episode of Up, Up, and Away, the official podcast of the Too Slow Squadron. Now, before we begin, I wanted to key you, the audience, in on a few details that got left out of the episode. First of all, RedRabbit and I almost got around to deciding on the name of the podcast in this episode. That was one of the things that we wanted to do, and we just missed it. Somehow the conversation navigated elsewhere, and so I just wanted to let you in on the fact that we have decided to call this podcast Up, Up, and Away. Second of all, RedRabbit and I, HornetDRIVER, decided to refer to each other through our in-game namer tags from WarThunder, and that might be a little different than what you're used to in a podcast, and so there's that. Third, this is the first time either of us have recorded separate tracks, and this is the first time I've edited something in Audacity. And so the audio is good, but not great. There are a few minor details that we need to sort out in regards to what the mics pick up. And there's some background noise and rumbling and such. I tried to edit most of that out, but some of it still sticks. So I think that the conversation is still worth listening to. I think we get to some really cool places, but just be prepared for that, and I will try to do better in the future. With that, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this first episode of Up, Up, and Away. What are we doing, Red? What is this? What for the future people of the internet that are going to watch this video, aka probably just our parents? What's going on right now?
This is the Too Slow Squadron official. That's in capitals. That's in
official.
capitals. Podcast.
Now,
and then in colon, it's like WarThunder.
WarThunder. Now, yes. So that is it's going to be part. I think. Well, we'll talk about this. Actually, the first thing that I wanted to talk about.
Do you not agree with my title?
Well, that's part of the episode. See, I think you're going to start to steal some of my thunder. You're going to do the thing again, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure you just read minds, but that's okay. Well, first of all, I think we should talk a little bit about what we should name. Well, yeah, we should. What should we name this podcast?
Well, it's for the Too Slow Squadron. I don't know if it needs too slow in the title. For the listeners at home, sitting by your radio and your campfire. Oh, wait,
because that's how that happens.
You don't have campfires in your house normally.
I was just gonna say, are you imagining people sitting on their couch with the fire just burning in their living room,
yeah, sort of like deadpan staring at the wall. The wall has scratch marks and it's kind of yeah.
That's a little post-apocalyptic there, buddy.
Yeah, it's sort of my home. Yeah, this is the official. It's gonna be the podcast for the Too Slow Squadron, which is a WarThunder Squadron. That was made in 2016, the end of 2016, and it will be I don't know how often it's gonna be, but we're gonna talk about WarThunder life, things we learned. I assume. I mean, I'm probably just jumping the gun here.
No, you totally read my mind. In fact, for this very episode, my plan was to have a WarThunder topic and a life topic. So you caught me. You totally guessed it, which is good. That means we're thinking along the same track. Well, so tell me, first of all, I want to hear, and I think we've discussed this just a little bit before, but for those who are like, what's a WarThunder Squadron and why is it named Too Slow? You're the commander and you are the creator of Too Slow. So what's up? What's the story?
Well, I 2016. So that was think it was like December of 2016, and Friday nights I would play like until 3 a.m. the next day, and when I play late, I get like a lot better at the game because it's like my mind stops running a million miles a second, so I start focusing on the game. So I do a lot better, but I also am just like, I get really impatient with things. So like if I am grinding something, I'm like, oh, I'll just buy some GE. Or I'll buy planes like the Whirlaway. I did that once when I was really tired. I bought the Whirlaway for Britain, which is like I think a 1.3 Australian plane. It's not very good. Um, and so I was playing one night, and I was like, it starts with I made a different squadron like long ago. Well, my friend made one called Broom, and it was just a joke squadron. Like, we made it because the squadron I had been in before, AGG, had kicked me out because of inactivity, and I didn't really want to rejoin. Then AGG died, and so we made our own squadron, and it was called Broom.
For reference, how do you spell broom?
Broom.
Okay, so you spelled it just, okay. I didn't know if you went for like a German, like U with umlaut, like Broombar, or no. Okay.
No, it was the Custodian Warrior Division.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we made that, and it lasted for a little bit. We got this guy in there. Oh, what was his name? It was Swag Ranger. And he was like, well, he was like a similar member that we had in our squadron up until a few weeks ago. And at one point, he got really annoying, and we were like, wow, I don't want to kick him out of the squad, but I also don't want him to be here. And so we just disbanded the squadron. And he sent us like hate messages and got really mad at us. And from
that's
there,
like dropping a nuclear bomb on a flea.
Yeah. Instead of kicking him, we just like disbanded the squadron. So that's $15 down the drain. So then I still had this dream of like building up my own squadron. I'd always wanted to like build a small community and have like people I can play games with online, because a lot of my friends don't really have like computers to play games, or they don't really play games that often. So I one night was really tired, and I was like, I'm just going to buy a squadron as like a joke. And so I bought a squadron, and I was thinking of a name for it. And there's this joke in the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, where they're like around a table and it's all these rich guys talking, and it's about, I don't know, I'm not going to try and say the joke off the top of my head because I'll just butcher it, but it's like a snail goes to a car dealer, and he's like, I want that Cadillac or Mercedes or something, but I want a big S painted on the top and on the door and on the hood. And the car salesman is like, oh, why would you want that? And the snail said, so that when I'm driving down the road, people can look and say, look at that S car go. And
I love it. And
around, what was it, like 3 a.m.? That's just the funniest thing to me. So,
sure.
So I bought a squadron, named it Too Slow, and dedicated it to Fireman Doak, who is the leader of AGG.
That's awesome.
And so that's pretty much how Too Slow made. And I didn't actually expect it to last this long. It's lasted like almost like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't know.
No, I think we're like at a year and a couple months.
Something like that.
December 8th, I think you started it. Because I joined
idea.
in January of 2017.
Yeah, then a year and a couple months.
Yeah, a year and a couple months. No, that's awesome. One of the things I love is that our squadron is named referenced, or your squadron that now has what, a lot of people. We're pushing 70 now.
Yeah.
But it's a reference to a snail, right?
Yeah.
And the joke is because escargot is a snail food, and like, look at that escargot, and snails are slow, so Too Slow. But I like to think that we're the most meta squadron in War Thunder, because Gaijin's like logo is a snail.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We must eat Gaijin for breakfast. Actually, no, we don't. We don't.
You can get the decal on your vehicles that's a snail and it says "Get faster."
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know
We
if
need
you
to
have
like
that
make
one.
that standard on our SRB
Standard on
vehicles.
all our SRB vehicles, yeah.
That'd be awesome. For those who don't play War Thunder and somehow have stumbled upon this podcast, gonna fill you in. GE is reference to Golden Eagles, which is a premium currency in the game, and you have to pay that. You have to pay real money to buy a squadron. And SRB is Squadron Realistic Battles, in which that's what squadrons take part in, and they play each other, and there's a whole point standing, which we just had something cool happen yesterday, last evening, right?
Yeah.
In SRB and Squadron Realistic, we, for the first time, a joke squadron, well, not, I'm pretty sure other joke squadrons have done this before, but
Yeah,
for the first time in our squadron history, we've broken top 100.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. If we hold it, we can get a little medal on our squadron page, which would be
amazing how excited we get over little bits of ones and zeros in organized fashion.
Yeah.
But it really is. This has been such a cool place to build a community up. We have like a fantastic officer corps. Like, I mean, there have been several people who have just stepped up and fit in ways that make sense and just help build the squadron to be what it is today. And we have a blast. We have a great group of people. So yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. So then why the heck are we doing a podcast? Like, I mean, you'd say it's kind of disjointed, right? Like, we have a War Thunder squadron that we do gaming on, but now we're podcasting and being all self-important. Actually, I hope we're not, because that would be kind of lame. But why did we think it was a good idea to turn on microphones and record ourselves again?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be good just to like, we have nice conversations in the squadron.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I agree.
There's a lot of moments in the squad that I think if we had been recording, it would have been nice like to have is like some sort of, we could just put it over War Thunder gameplay and have it going.
Absolutely. No, there have been multiple times when I've just been like, why? If like something funny has happened, or just, you know, those sequence of events that just happen with friends that are just hilarious, and like, why are we not recording this? Like, so I think part of the one of the goals that I have, at least for this, is I'd like to have various members from Too Slow on just to talk about experiences. And I just think that we have fantastic personalities in this community, and every time we wind up talking, I think good, worthwhile things happen. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'd like to have happen. I don't know about you. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm thinking. Well, I mean, I would be fun to have people on and like get them to talk. We could do like actually watch, like having a replay and watching like a gameplay, and we talk about it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
A group. We could, well, also having like we'll probably put some sort of structured things that we do, and so we have like segments so there aren't like long lulls and stuff. So like, if a conversation ends, we can like jump into a next topic and have something go.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Like what we should do about right now. RedRabbit, do you want to fill people in on what just happened in this little topic shift deal that we just did?
Yeah, I mean, they would have never known about it otherwise unless you said something. But
No.
I can tell them about my poor ability to know where things are. Actually, it's been going on for like the past like 3 weeks. I've just been noticing that my space is filling up, and I didn't really know where it was going, but I never really like dug around to look. But just then, my Audacity stopped recording, and it said I had full space. Turns out, every time I record War Thunder, it saves to my very small solid-state hard drive instead of my normal hard drive that has like a terabyte. So I just filled up everything, and now I had to delete all of my recordings.
And so we just spent 5 minutes without mics rolling, and RedRabbit was just frantically trying to delete things and resave. It was funny. But of course we couldn't record any of it because, well, he was out of space. It's all good. On to the next topic. So since we play War Thunder, and this podcast wouldn't be a thing without the game War Thunder, I think we should devote at least part of it to talking about the game. And we recently had some really cool dev blogs come out about this patch that's coming up, 1.77. And I just wanted to ask you, what are you excited for? And first, let's start with, what are you excited for about the things that have already been released? And then we'll move on to maybe things that could come up. Yeah.
Well, already been released. Yeah, I guess the new graphics engine is neat.
Yeah, Dagor 5.0 or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't know how you pronounce
I'm
it.
looking forward to mud and puddles and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. I didn't actually read them. I just looked at the pictures. I don't know if the puddles are dynamic, but that'd be cool.
It would be. It would be very cool. They're reworking their weather engine. Apparently, the nuclear sun that was a problem isn't going to be a problem anymore. So they say.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
They could do that, and then the game would be... I had a nuclear sun today, actually, and I was just like, wow, I thought they said they fixed this.
No, I don't think it's been fixed yet. I think...
They said that it was a problem caused by clouds plus dusk or dawn, and so they made it so you can't get that mix. But then when you get dusk or dawn, the sun is still, like, super bright.
Yeah, it is. It's an issue, especially for people... I don't think it's as much of an issue on ultra-low quality, but for the people who run high-end graphics, it has turned into an issue. Yeah, so it seems like we're going to get some quality of life upgrades, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited for. I think that's been a long time coming. What about the vehicles? Now, okay, we've talked about this before, but so I know you have opinions on this, but what's up?
Okay, so the big thing 1.77 is adding is like closer to modern MBTs than we have had before. We had the AOS and the Rise M60s before this update, which were pretty dang modern. T-64s, I don't know when that came out. Was that 64? Do Russians name their tanks by the year?
No, I think in parentheses next to T-64, there's like a 1971. I'm pretty sure.
You know what? I'm like 100% certain that is the truth. I just have never looked at that tank. And we had the MBT and KPZ, and then they recently announced the Leo 2K, which I personally know not a lot about.
Other than it has the Rheinmetall.
It has the 120 millimeter that the M1 Abrams has, exactly. And they're adding the Challenger 1, which has similar, if not the same armor to the M1 Abrams, and this sort of acts as a pyramid, and you know what's at the top of that pyramid?
The, dare I say it, M1, possibly A1 Abrams?
Possibly the M1A1 Abrams. Now, there's a lot that could be done. The Abrams is a phenomenal tank, so, and I'm pretty sure most of it isn't declassified, so, like, it'll be difficult. Like, a lot of these tanks, they're not declassified. Leo 2K, the Challenger 1, or Challenger?
Yeah, Challenger.
Its armor isn't declassified, so they're just going to be taking a shot in the dark there.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're going to wait. Next week, I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat in every class just checking WarThunder dev blogs, hoping for an Abrams.
You and me both. Here's why I don't think we're going to get the full package on the M1 Abrams. I think we're either going to get the 120 millimeter Rheinmetall gun, or we're going to get the armor package from the Challenger. So we're going to get like either, and it'll have like the L7 105 millimeter if we get the armor package, because it seems like Gaijin really doesn't like to add tanks that like have the perfect trifecta. That's like armor, a good gun, and mobility. They said there's a lot of tanks that have two of the three and do two of the three extremely well. I don't know, apart maybe from the IS-6, but even that, the 122 millimeter at that tier will struggle a little bit. Like, you can't kill a mouse.
It doesn't have the post-war round that the IS-3 has.
Correct. So I would be surprised if we see an M1 with a 120 millimeter gun. That said, I saw on Reddit today that they made a prototype of the Abrams with like a 140 millimeter gun. So like maybe that could be a premium or something. But
Yikes.
I think the regular tech tree researchable M1, if they add it, which I'm like 75% certain that they will.
Probably now 7.
Yeah, probably an L7. Also, I'm going to sound really dumb if they don't add it in 1.77 because this is going on the internet and you can't take that back. So
Yeah.
that's
I
okay
mean,
though. I'm
we're
alright with
just
being an idiot.
speculating. We can't like we
Yes.
can't really. Oh my goodness, it says disk space remaining for recording 23 hours. I should have looked at that before cuz it probably said like 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah.
didn't even realize that.
Yeah. That's a thing. Wait.
Um
Where did he? Oh wow. Hey, guess what? I just
huh.
found what you were looking at, and my disk space left for recording is well, actually, let's do this. Would you like to take a guess?
uh 2 years.
No, 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 not that much. It's 247 hours and 27 minutes.
Yeah, I sort of thought 2 years would be better.
Yeah, it would be. I'm lame. I need to upgrade my computer. I
Yeah,
just built this thing, dude.
be like Caleb and have seven 1 terabyte hard drives.
Yeah. I mean, that would probably get 2 years of audio recording. Um, yeah, I think before, mental note, we'll check that next time before we try to record a podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, full disclaimer, we don't know anything. We're just speculating as two fans of War Thunder. Yeah, we don't have any inside information. We just are like talking about what we want. Um,
And
speaking of
what is it that
speculation,
you want? What is it that you want, Hornet?
what do what do what do I want, Red Rabbit?
In
Oh,
177.
in patch 1.77,
Yeah.
well, personally, I would just absolutely love it if they just pulled out all the stops, announced tier 6 jets, and gave us the F100D Super Saber. Um, I would be, I'd be like, yep, I'm good. Supposedly, I've heard rumors or speculation that with a new engine, they might be able to handle supersonic flight modeling, which is one of the reasons why they weren't doing tier 6 jets in the past. Um, but I don't know. That remains to be seen. Yeah, I would. Let's see. Yeah, the M1 would be good. I tend to kind of split my time evenly between tanks and planes, but right now tanks seem to be getting a lot of the love. The T-64 BV would be kind of cool too, and get some like composite reactive armor and an
Hmm.
ATGM on a T-64. But ATGMs are kind of underperforming right now.
Oh yeah, sure they are.
Well,
Not when you're on the receiving end in your M60.
this is true. Well, and I suppose I've been killed by ATGMs a lot in my MBT as well. But they I don't think they're. It's safe to say that they aren't the one hit kill that they used to be. Which I guess I say underperforming. I should rather say balanced. That I think they're actually performing as they should.
Something I have been thinking about is if they were to add heckin' tier 6 planes like the MiG-17 could be like the BMP where they added an upgrade package that gave the BMP a better ATGM, but it could add the afterburning engine for the MiG-17,
That's a good idea.
which would immediately give it the kick it needed to get into tier 6 and fight like F-100s or whatever.
How would you handle the BR change? Because obviously you don't want a MiG-17 just upgraded at 9.0 with an afterburning engine.
I'm not sure if the BMP actually changes BR.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I don't have it, so.
I don't have it either, but they could just have it so that one version is like 9.0 and one version is like 9.7, 10.0.
Yeah, that could
10.0.
work. That could
It
work.
would just be 10.
I wonder if they would just folder it at that point.
Yeah. And then another thing they could do that I just forgot. Wow.
Well, when you think of it, just pull it up. Here's something I want to ask though. With the addition of like, so we're getting a bunch of guns that can essentially pen themselves, right? Like if you were to turn it on its own tank, it would just be able to erase it in one hit. Like, how's this changing top tier meta? Because it used to be that like you want the trifecta. You want a good gun, you want a good armor, and you want good mobility. And if you were lacking in one and in like two, or if the tank did only one of those super well, it was a little bit more difficult to play. Now we're going to see tanks that are just designed to do everything perfectly. So like, well, maybe not perfectly, but armor, it seems like armor is going to matter less and the gun is going to matter more, but will it require skill to play?
I believe so. So the thing is, currently the top tier meta is you want to be as fast as possible and get the flank. Like, pretty much it's you spawn on one side of the map by the, like, 2-minute mark in the game, both teams have swapped sides, and so now they're, like, pretty much pushing from, like, enemies are pushing from their enemy spawn, or from, like, your spawn, and you're pushing from their spawn.
Right.
Like, I saw a member in our squadron in a game push down the center river of Berlin, I believe.
Ooh, yeah.
And just got behind them and killed, like, 6 tanks in his MBT. And so that's why the MBT and KPZ excel at what they do, because they have speed and gun. Speed and gun are probably... Well, gun is questionable, but they have speed.
Yes, well, speed and gun are more effective than speed and armor or gun and armor, I think.
Which is a flaw with the M60 is if it has a good round for the gun. The APFSDS is a phenomenal round, but the speed is lacking in top tier. Reverse speed is decent. The ERA armor is like, I mean, it helps, but it's a copy paste of the AOS. So basically, you're just an AOS at 8.7 with some fancy bricks on you that can deflect ATGMs.
Exactly. Literally some bricks. It's like they're ceramic, right, with explosive underneath.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know how much skill it's going to take to play tier 6 stuff now. Like, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean...
but, like, as far as flanking will be made easy because of great mobility.
I think...
You're going to be able to pen... You're going to be able to pen, like... You're going to be able to pen the side of, like, extreme angles because of APFSDS. And, so I don't know if you're going to have to aim for specific parts of the tank or how the... I don't know. We'll see. But,
I think tanks, like, if they do add the Abrams, it's going to have phenomenal frontal armor. And then the sides will be typical, like, I don't know, 100 millimeters, 80 millimeters. I don't know what the actual measurements would be, but something weaker than the front. So you're going to be able to get side shots on that turret because the turret sides are weaker than the front of the turret. Rear, you're going to be able to pen the engine bay.
Oh, yeah.
So you can flank, but you're just going to have to be careful for side shots.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the Challenger, and I know very, very little. I know less about the Leo 2K.
Same.
But in the coming weeks, we'll get to know more about what the new tanks are going to be, and there'll be more speculation on how they'll be played. I'm scared if they add the Abrams, it's going to be behind the KP or the MBT, and I'll have to go.
Because you've refused to research it.
I mean, I've been researching it as we do SRB because we win, and you make pretty good research from that. I've gotten about 110K into it, so I'm
good deal.
Pretty set, but it's also cost like 1,100,000 or something.
1,010,000, I believe.
That's a lot that I'm still saving for the F2 Saber, the A5 Saber.
F2 Saber Master Race for the win.
Yeah, right. Try and fly against a good MiG.
We're gonna have to save that for another podcast, I think. we don't want to like burn out of all our material in one go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think we should just do a bit of a segment change here. What do you think?
Yeah, cut that out.
All right, let's do it.
Cut the out.
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that.
You're gonna leave it in.
I promise. No. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I think we should route around to a topic that isn't War Thunder, and I had an idea for a topic, but if you have an idea for a topic that isn't War Thunder, then we should go with that, because I've done a lot of my ideas. So if you want to,
I have nothing.
Okay, in that case, well, here's it's aviation related, but not specifically War Thunder. I wanna get your opinion between the F4 Phantom and the MiG-21. What's better? What's your favorite plane between those two?
Between the F4 Phantom and the MiG-21.
Yes.
As a air defense fighter, MiG-21 wins hands down. But the F4 is good. Okay, well, you tell me how the F4 is going to do better without guns built into it. Unreliable.
I think we're in a fight. I know I'm just gonna say I think we're in a fight. But you go ahead. You finish your point.
The unreliable gun pod. I talked to the guy. I had a guy in high school who flew B-57Bs in Vietnam and did. They flew recon missions where they would take pictures of enemy encampments and it would have filters to show the camouflage and stuff because it doesn't reflect light the same as leaves.
Sure.
We talked about the F4, and he said it's great for supporting troops, but as a they thought war wouldn't be fought with planes with guns, so they removed the guns and they put gun pods on it. They would jam all the time. They were unreliable. I mean, the thing is that F4 has, I believe it probably had some sort of did it have radar guided missiles or?
I believe it did. I believe it could, because that, it had that huge, the nose cone. It was kind of it had that long nose that was kind of, it was more of an ogive shape, right? That it tapered at the very end. I think, that housed a radar. So it could do radar guided missiles, Sparrows, I believe. I think prototype Sparrows flew on that. Maybe prototype Sparrows flew on the A7 or F8. Models.
All right.
As well. But yeah, so my response to you is the MiG-21 has this button that
okay
because the engine would just shut off at random times.
It's unreliable.
There was so you're talking unreliable gun pod, but at least if a gun pod jams, you still have your engines. We're talking about an airplane that the engine would just shut off at random times, and there was a specific button or set of switches that weren't your standard restart, as I understand it, weren't your standard restart or start up switches for the engine to get the engine back online in midair.
Well, to be fair, a lot of jets from that era had emergency engine restarts. I mean, they're early tech, and you wouldn't want your jet to just fall out of the sky. And I mean, they're still learning the tech. So if an engine flames out, they want some sort of countermeasure for that.
This is true.
Explain to me this though.
Okay.
Or answer this question. That's a better phrasing of that. Is the F4 Phantom still in service?
Oof. That you're making some good points. You're hitting where it hurts.
Yikes.
No, the F4 Phantom isn't in service.
And is the MiG-21?
In some nations, yes.
Yep.
Namely North Korea.
Wow.
I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure about that.
The guy who flew the B-57s, he went and did a speech in Israel or something.
Sure.
And he was at an air base, and they had MiG-21s, and he asked them, why do you have these? And they were repairing them for an African country that I don't remember the name of.
So some African countries just fly MiG-21s because...
No, they have them for their military. The thing is, the MiG-21 is... and a lot of Russian planes are built, very solidly. Everything is just ready to go. There isn't... It's all vacuum sealed as well.
They're very robust because of the climate that they have to fly in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so, they get that, but the reason the F4 Phantom was retired is probably because they came along with something a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Exactly. Yeah, it just got outdated. I would be curious to know if you tried to land a MiG-21 on a carrier, an aircraft carrier. I wonder if you could do that. I think the undercarriage is built robust enough to do that, but I don't know, man. Like delta wings and low speed maneuverability are like not synonymous. They do not go together. Whereas
Yeah.
the F4 was able to, it had like that cool little dihedral at the edge of the wing and twin engines, so it could, yeah, I don't know. I have this like affinity for naval aircraft. Yeah,
I love them.
they're so cool. They're so cool. Just you watch Top Gun as a kid and you're like, oh, it's so cool. There's so many loud jets and they're flying off a boat that's the size of a city. Oh, not a city, but you get what I mean. How can you not like that? How can you not like that?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I have not gotten the F2 Sabre yet in War Thunder.
Ooh, because it's not a naval aircraft.
Not a naval aircraft and doesn't go slow.
So if they added the FJ1 or FJ2 or any of the naval Sabres, would you get that?
I would get those in a heartbeat.
Yeah, same here.
That would be, I think it would be on par or better than the F2. One thing about the F2 and what is it called? The FJ3.
FJ3? Right? Okay, yeah.
F3J,
Is that the shortened one? The Sabre that was kind of squashed?
Naval Sabre?
Yeah.
It was...
One of the naval Sabres was like squashed. It was a shorter version.
I have no idea.
I'm going to look this
up. I just know the FJ3 or something. Yeah, I think it was shortened, but they had to engineer it so it could fold its wings. It had an arrestor hook. Yeah,
I think it was the FJ3. Okay, continue.
The thing was, it was not... I was reading... I don't remember what book it was. One of my books here that I have, they talked about how it wasn't really that great of a... it wasn't that much better of a fighter than the F9F, but the F9F was used in a ground attack role because it was better at ground attacking than the FJ was. So they were pretty much even in an air fighting role. I forgot where that book went.
The FJs were a little bit heavier, though. They had to build them up and strengthen them to take the hard impact of carrier landings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's probably, if they got added to War Thunder, they would be just a heavy, gross Sabre that wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah, they'd probably get better energy retention. You might be able to go vertical with a MiG. You never know. I think they had a better engine, too, at one point. We're look at us. We're talking about War Thunder in a non-War Thunder segment.
That's my life.
Well, speaking of your life, can you tell us about what happened to your box?
My box? Oh.
Because you're sad right now.
Thanks for cutting open that wound again.
Well, this is how we get out of our fight, because clearly we were in a blood feud about the
MiG-21 is better than the F4, yeah?
Yeah, well, okay, sure. But I'll let you have that if you can just explain what went on in our beloved Discord about 40 minutes ago.
Well, I got the flu a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh. So is everyone else, I think.
And I went to the health center at my school, and I was like, hey, I think I'm dying. And they said, no, you have the flu. Here's a thermometer.
Right, because they knew that you weren't dying, even though you thought you were. Okay, good.
Yeah, and they were like, here's the thermometer. Just go back and check your temperature, and here's some medicine. And it came with a nice little box, and if you blew into the box, don't ask why that was my first, thing to do was blow into the little cardboard box, but it made a whistle. It was the best little sound. And then there was some
by best, you mean most annoying in the history of probably the entirety of the United States.
Yeah. Well, there were some members in the squadron that didn't like me blowing into my box every time they were in the voice channel. I would just be like, hey, guys, want to hear my box? And they would say no, and I would blow into it anyways. Made a nice little squealing noise.
Okay, turning over all the cards here, you almost made all the new guys leave.
Yeah, I almost made all the new guys leave. And...
You're just going to let that hang there. No, I don't think you did. I don't think you did actually make all the new guys almost leave. I think that they just made you. What did they make you do to the box?
Well, first I wanted to see if I could cut holes in it to make it make notes.
Which you did.
And then it stopped making its noise, and then I cut it open because they said they would leave if I didn't do that. So now my box is dead. I still have my thermometer though. I hit it against the desk and it cracked open. But I think that's...
What? Why would you... That's not... For a reference, to use a thermometer, you want to, like, stick it into your body somewhere and not bang it on the edge of a table.
Look, I'm in college.
Right. Oh, my gosh. But we can't cut this out. This has to stay. Anyone who was going to listen to our podcast now has just run away into the hills, fleeing for their lives.
I found a new box.
Oh my gosh. We're in for a long SRB session, aren't we?
I had to kill my box, and it just made me sad. I don't know what this is that I just found. So I'm mourning. I had that box for a little while. It was a fun little thing, and now it's dead.
All good things must come to an end.
Yes. Like
this podcast must come to an end, and we've been going for almost 30 minutes on this.
We gotta get some of that Squadron battles. Woo!
Yeah, so let's go say our goodbyes to the future internet people that may or may not be listening to this, probably erring on the side of not listening to this, and go do some Squadron battles. What do you say?
Heck yeah!
All right, let's do this again sometime soon. This was good.